Hey folks, welcome to another episode of Couch to Trails with Jasper. This is fifth episode in this series, but fourth with you. We've been talking about your starting running journey. Last time we talked about some consistency problems or getting the routine going on, and then we thought about we would do like a running analysis thing. You sent me a video. I have it ready to go, but I think maybe we start from the kind of the routine and consistency a little bit. How you've been feeling and how you're doing and so on.
Yeah, so perfect timing. Last week I was kind of a bit sick, so only managed to get to run on the weekend. And then I started this week. The morning seems to be good. So I'm going to keep trying to do that. And even though I have not been super consistent, it's been amazing how much a difference it makes. As in, even within 4 or 5 weeks, I can feel my running is now moving forwards. So that's a really massive bonus. So yeah.
So I thought that I'll share you my screen. We can start first from your training. What I like about what I see from you, like you said, there's some time off and things like that. We're not quite reaching the goals, but it doesn't matter. It's much more important that we see many bars here. The size of the bars isn't important. It's just important we see it's moving on and you're doing things. I am super happy with the progress. Where we're going, you've done something this week already. It's really cool. What I think we should do before we move on to running analysis, now would be time to set a bit of a goal for you. And I think the goal could be a park run. If it's a situation where you can't run the whole 5K, something like that, that's fine. Park run, you can just walk part of it. It's just no problem. But I would like to put this park run, I would say somewhere like 2 months or something like that, that will still get into before the worst winter. Putting in December might not be the best thing to do. I know the UK weather might not be really great in end of September or October either. So as part of it, so maybe we could think about putting the goal somewhere in September for you.
So that feels really doable. I mean, I wrote to you, I think it was this week or was it even last week. So I've got a route I'm running, right?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, and it happens to be the same route I take the dogs for a walk. So that route is about a mile or so, something like that. And now, the last 2 runs I did, I was able to do that whole route without stopping, which is good. So, and it's an interesting thing. In the first sort of third of the run, I would say, is where you kind of feel you want to stop.
Mm-hmm.
And if you keep going past that first third, then you get into the kind of like the middle section gets a bit better. And then once you kind of got past the middle section, you got it in your head like, okay, well, I'm now in the last section. I just need to keep pushing forward a bit more. So I would guess that within a couple of months, that route I'm running will probably feel a bit short. And I'll probably be trying to do a couple of those routes or looking for a new one. So I think a 5K feels really doable. I can't think off the top of my head what 5K is in terms of miles. It's going to be something like 3
miles
and a half or something. Yeah.
If 3, it's almost exactly 3.
Almost
my
exactly.
Garmin is still outlapping in miles, so I've learned miles. But it says almost 3 exactly.
So I feel 3 miles should be really doable. Yeah,
it should be. So I would say let's pick September 19th. They always Saturdays. If it goes off, family and so on, we don't know. But I think we pick the September 19th, and it's always 9 o'clock, and you can check there's a 5K. So that's it.
Good.
59 days to go.
Excellent. I like that. I see that this is a nice to have the event like this. It's really nice.
Yeah. And this also kind of gives a little bit motivation. I have the same that you do and still have, but in the beginning had as well. Like there's this once I get towards like the half marathon distance of my maximum distance, it always was at 7 kilometers. I was like, I can't run anymore.
Right.
Somehow 7 kilometers was for me for like half a year, the point where, okay, if I push past this, I know I'm going to start enjoying it. But then it's always like, it's really strange. And running is very much a mental exercise, because there's nothing really physical in your body that is stopping you from running at that point. But it's quite fun to also learn the mental side and how you do. That's why I would recommend told you the exercised book, because it goes through exactly these kind of things, because our brain has evolved to tell you to stop, because there's if you run when you don't have to, you use energy you don't have, because used to be that hunting was more difficult than going to supermarket, and that was really bad idea to run if you didn't have to. No caveman would go for a run in the evening. So it's very natural for us to stop, that want to stop and not wanting to go, because that's what we evolved to do.
I've been also listening to that book called Endure, isn't it? Or is it Endurance?
Yeah, Endure.
And that's been good, because that's been in my head as I'm running. I'm not listening. Actually, I haven't been listening while I'm running yet, because I guess the distance isn't great, and it turns out to be probably about a 15-minute run in the end, quite short. But that book is good because it makes me aware that it's a mental exercise as well.
Yeah, they talk about crossing the Antarctica and stuff like that. Like, all right, I'm doing a loop in the backyard. Maybe I shouldn't complain.
Exactly. It's just a beginning to a longer journey anyway.
Yeah. The other thing I want to talk to you about quickly before we go to the form is I kind of forgot when the last time you talked about your knee pain and things like that. I've actually had the same thing. Genetically, I had bad knees because my granddad had really big problem. He was doing a lot of skiing, or downhill skiing, and he had to buy multiple surgeries. And I've always, from teenage years, had pain in my knee. So in the Taekwondo training, which I used to do very actively in my 20s and 30s, is I avoided things like deep crouch and going down too much. It was always scary, and I skipped some strength training and stuff like that. And when I started running, I actually looked to Strava when my knee pain always came. It always came to front of my knee at some point. And I was like, okay, I need to monitor this. I started logging it. But the interesting effect that happened was that when I increased my distance, the point where the knee pain came is always also went further. It was like, okay, first it was 2 kilometers, then 3, and so on. And then after 20K, once it went past 20K, it disappeared. So it was like, I always knew, okay, the knee pain is going to come. But then somehow the strength removed it. That, of course, that everybody's different, and might be different cause that you have had. But that's what I kind of remembered. I completely forgot it. I moved out of my head. But to me, running cured the problem that I assumed is genetic for me, and my knees never going to last. But now they do.
Strange enough that it has actually got better this week. And there's some other things I've been doing that haven't really been recording, because I haven't been doing it in a structured way. I've been doing a bit of swimming. I've been doing quite a bit of stuff in the garden. I mean, generally getting more active, spending more time standing at my desk, that sort of thing. So walking, last time we spoke, like walking down the stairs was like, really noticed it. It seems to not be such a big issue this week. So let's keep monitoring it, but it's not a concern at the moment.
Yeah, cool. But then anyways, I think it's going well. And you were also much braver than I was. I really waited for a long time before I started recording myself for running. You are even okay for all of us looking at together, which is really super nice.
I did a quick preview of it, and like, yikes.
Yeah,
it's not pretty, but anyway, it is what it is.
I would disagree somewhat with this one. So this is the running analyzer. I'm turning these this skeleton stuff off. The current analyzer doesn't quite detect the ground correctly in this video because the ground is a bit of gradient.
Right.
Don't know why. I need to improve the analyzer, but we don't really need the automation. Just we can just look it manually. So the kind of the automatic stuff, I'm not going to send you the report because it's misidentified your stride or your gate.
Okay.
But in general, so there's two things we can look at is a little bit your body position and then look at where you actually landing. And I know if you've done the review already, the good news is I don't think it's actually I don't think you overstride at all or very, very little. If you look at while in let's add another. This is a good position to look at. It looks like your leg is straight in front of you, but it actually isn't landed yet. So here you touch the ground and here you have weight on it. And this is the point where it matters. It doesn't matter where it touches, it matters when you put weight on it. And when you're putting weight, your body center of gravity line it's like here. And that's really not a problem. You can try to improve a little bit. I think it's worth thinking your form a little bit, but there's nothing critical here. This is not going to cause you an injury. Your running form is perfectly fine. There's nothing to worry about. Everybody, when they look at themselves, they always feel a bit uncomfortable. But actually, I've been looking at a lot of other people. The one I did in early phases of running, when I was running in München, where there's much more people running around in the parks, and I always looked at their form. I was like, okay, I've learned the form. I analyzed their form all the time, and I've seen what's much worse.
It's funny because I kind of look a bit like how you used to look.
Yeah, good.
From the side profile, I look at that and it's like, hey, I remember seeing you running. I mean, this is probably 10, 12 years ago now.
So there's a couple of things. One thing that will make your running easier, but that comes a little bit when you increase the speed, is try to lean forward a little bit. And there's an interesting exercise. This is not something you can do, just force yourself to do it. Somehow it doesn't work. But there's a saying that running is like controlled falling. So you're always falling forward, but you put your leg in front of you before you fall. That's kind of the idea. And that will help, the gravity will help you to go faster. If you see sprinters, they are like, and that's not what I advocate here, but he's saying, thinking, and there's an interesting forms. Maybe I do a video again, but basically just thinking about it. When you start running, instead of just starting running, stand legs on the same line and start leaning forward, and move your legs only when you feel like you're going to be falling. So don't fall. And then instead of stopping, just start running. So basically you start leaning, and then your body will force you to step forward, and then start running from that.
Okay.
And then that's the position where you can be and keep running naturally. So you are quite straight up, but you're also jogging more than running, which
I am
perfectly fine. There's
jogging,
no problem in that. But you could do something like try when you start to run, start like that a few times, just to get the feeling out of it. But there's nothing problematic in your legs. One thing I would do, and this you can do consciously, is to get your arms moving a bit more. It will give you energy. So if you see you're running, your elbow is staying the same place all the time, right? So in general, it would make sense to move. One thing is with the arm movement is that your fist shouldn't go past your center line. So don't move here, because that induces rotation in your upper body. If your upper body rotates, your hips start rotating, and that causes a problem. I don't think you're going to have that problem. But the movement also from the shoulder, it gives you propulsion. Like your arms will drive your propulsion. That's something that you can do consciously. But when you start thinking about your arms, you will mess up your legs. But that's fine, right? So sometimes just try that.
Okay, that's a cool idea.
And the third thing that you might want to include at some point, this is maybe not this week, is something called strides. And stride is an idea of strides is you take a short distance, maybe 20 seconds, maybe 30 seconds, and you increase your speed gradually towards your 90% speed. You never go to 100%, and you don't sprint. The idea is not you don't sprint. And the good exercise here is that it improves your running form, because running fast is easier to run in good form than running slow. But it also is something that it doesn't break your body because you do it slowly and just a few times. These are things that you do at the end of your run. When your body is fully warmed up, you might do 2 strides, basically. Just take a short period of time, increase your speed to 90%, and then slow down. And then jog for 2 minutes and do it again. And that's it. Do it twice maybe. Don't start adding it a lot. But these are things that then makes you think about it.
When you say 90%, are you saying like I'm now sprinting at 90%? Or?
Yeah, so 90% of your maximum speed.
Okay.
Effectively. So that the end will be a bit like sprint. But the sprint will last maybe 2 seconds, right? So you go faster and faster and faster, and then you stop. Slow down back to jog, and then jog a little bit, and then do a little bit faster and faster. It shouldn't be more than 50 meters, the distance,
right?
And maybe 20 seconds maximum, something like that. Around there, not so exact. But the idea is to include a little bit faster running without inducing injury risk in the running. It will help you with form. But basically, that's it. I would do the kind of the leaning thing just to get your head around it. Nothing important, nothing really serious about the running, and maybe think about your arms a little bit more. That's it. I think you are in a good place, and I think there's nothing. I don't see. I'm not really super expert about this either. I read about it a lot, but I don't really see any risk or any problem here.
Yeah, it's getting more comfortable, I think. And anyway, I think you sent me off on the right direction, where I'm not like consciously thinking, but I'm just aware of not overstriding and that sort of thing. So I am actually probably, I think if we hadn't had that initial session, I probably would be running a bit differently. Would be my guess.
Good. That's good. So now it's just keeping consistent.
Yeah.
And increasing slowly. You're on the right track. And I think what we're going to do next time, in a couple of weeks, we're going to look at how the intervals at ICU works and how it shows you your stress levels and things like that. There's just not quite enough exercises or workouts yet to really look at it. But I think that's the next step then.
Good.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Any thoughts?
Well, I think we're good. I think I'm kind of feeling on the right journey. So I'll work on the consistency. I think it's the main thing next. Yeah.
That's it. Cool. Thanks, Jasper.
Awesome.
Good luck with your running.
Yeah. Thanks. See you next time.